It's that time of the day. The GBNews Tavern has been declared open. It is time for Talking Pints. I'm joined by entrepreneur Rachel Watkyn. Rachel, welcome to the programme.
Cheers.
Now, to say that you had a tough, probably the modern word would be disadvantaged background, would be something of an understatement, wouldn't it?
Probably would, yes.
I mean, you were in care for a bit and...
I was.
Parents that were not particularly responsible, and I read those parts of your background and I thought it was really interesting. Most people who come from that very difficult environment also drop out of school completely, don't finish any exams, but you seem to go the other way and actually get through your A-levels and go on to university. What was that drive?
Pure chance.
Really?
I blagged it. I guess I was really lucky because my parents were complete delusionists. I was in care from about 8 months old to 3 years old, and I don't remember it. I don't remember it all. I just remember sort of coming back home to the parents, no idea why they returned us, and thinking, well, this isn't great. But you just get on with it, you know, because we never knew what we were walking into at home or what was going to happen. We were brought up by 3 parents, the stepfather, who then had a sex change and became a woman. A very odd environment. But my parents were delusionists, so every now and then they'd say, oh, we've got lots of money, which they didn't, and then send us to private school or boarding school. So, they didn't have any money for food or clothes or uniform or anything normal, but then you'd get a taste of education, and I liked learning. Well, you did, because you went on to university and you did business studies at university. I did, yes.
Now, I sort of, when I hear business studies at university, I ask myself, is this really something that is going to help people? But I guess when it comes to getting graduate jobs at big companies, it probably does make a difference, doesn't it?
It probably does. I mean, the degree itself, I've got to say, I didn't go to university a lot. I was taking drugs, drinking, doing everything I shouldn't be doing.
We're not recommending this, folks.
Not recommending it at all, no. Dating a Hell's Angel. But somehow managed to come out with a 2-1, which was great. And yes, businesses wanted graduates.
You see, I mean, if you're going to go into the corporate world, these days you need a degree.
Yes.
I mean, there's almost no debate or question about that. You know, in my time, when I left school and went to work in the City of London, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But now it would, to go and work for, work for those big firms. But, you've become an entrepreneur in what you've done. Actually, a lot of entrepreneurs don't need that university education, do they? No,
no. And actually, in many ways, does a university degree help you, apart from opening the initial door? Because, if you're a youngster, you've missed out on 3 years of the real world. So there's pros and cons to both. Yeah.
Now, you worked in the corporate world for a bit, John Lewis, other companies like that, and did some interesting things. What is it that says to Rachel Watkyn, I don't want to climb the greasy pole, I don't want to be a director or partner by 35, I want to take a huge punt and go and do my own thing?
I fell off the greasy pole.
Right.
I got very sick. I had an appendix operation in the year 2000, got very sick. It went wrong, and it took me 4 years to be well enough to work part-time. In that time, I lost everything. I lost my house, I lost my partner, car, job. And when you hit rock bottom, you kind of don't have anywhere else to go. I started to rebuild my strength, and by 2006, so, I was well enough to sort of work, a few hours a day or whatever. Couldn't find any packaging for a fair trade company that I'd set up.
Right.
So I thought, do you know what, I'll do it myself.
Now, packaging, we're all used to buying things that are wrapped in layer after layer of plastic and cardboard and goodness knows what else. And I guess you were sort of thinking in your entrepreneurial mind of getting into recycled packaging. You were pretty early with that, weren't you?
I was so early. it was just finding something that matched the jewellery, but that I could buy in small quantities, because all of the manufacturers said, well, we can do it for you, but it's 1,000 units of each size in each colour.
Scale is the problem.
Yeah, and it's 10 to 12 weeks, you know, and they were sending me quotes in the post. This is 2007, you know. Everybody else is emailing.
And Tiny Box was the name of the...
Tiny Box, yeah.
The company.
And I thought that I could do it part-time. Don't tell the Dragons that, because I never admitted.
We're coming to that. We're coming to that. Yeah, so you've got an idea of what you want to do, but you've got to raise cash and capital.
Yeah.
And so you take the very brave and bold step of going on to Dragon's Den to explain what you're going to do. And you were there with Robin, who was your business partner at the time.
Yeah.
And we're going to play a clip now from Dragon's Den back in 2008. And it was a big moment in Rachel's life.
Diversify. You got to probably compromise, because if you want to achieve, and then sometimes you've got to look at a wider picture to achieve it. So we need that commitment.
I'd be happy to commit to that.
I'm in for 30 on the basis of 20%.
Yes, please.
We'll take it.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Well done.
Christian and Rachel have done it and proved that while a dragon is still in, there's always hope for an entrepreneur.
Well, what a moment. What a moment, Rachel. I mean, you know, when Theo Pafida says, I'm in, you're sort of going, yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. I mean, was that an incredibly nerve-wracking thing to do?
It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it was going to be, because I thought there was no chance.
Oh, really?
No, I had nothing patentable, no trading history. I knew nothing about packaging. So I thought that, yeah, there was less than no chance, but a great marketing advertising opportunity.
Theo and Peter both came in, and that was... I mean, you gave away 40% of the equity
I know.
of the company, but that gave you the cash to get set up and get moving. I think Duncan Bannatyne was a bit cussing about you.
Oh, he was horrific.
but that's Dragon's Den. I mean, you go on there and you're going to get some abuse. And how big a difference did that make to your life, then?
Do you know what it did was it gave me instant credibility. More than anything else, you know, people want to start talking to you, whereas when you're a start-up, it's really hard to get those doors opened. And suddenly, having that credibility behind me got the doors opening.
And how did that relationship with those dragons work?
So we had a meeting about 6 weeks after it was aired. Sorry, after the filming, and they tore my business to pieces, and the pricing, branding, everything else. And at the end of the meeting, they said, we're going to forward you the money and leave you to run the business because you know what you're doing. And
fantastic.
Well, I sat there thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. Typical imposter syndrome. But they said, just go and get on with it. There's the cash. Go and get on with it. So...
Well, you've done that, and you've been NatWest Entrepreneur of the Year, and amazing things you've done. You're doing some clothing brands now, sustainable clothing, and all of that. And on the face of it, your life is a mega, mega success. But you've had some terrible health challenges as well, haven't you? I have, yes. I've had 5 operations in the last 6 years. God. I mean, if you're going to go for it, you know, you've got to do it in style. Gosh, unfortunately, had cancer 3 times and a tumour on my parathyroid. And yes, I had a double mastectomy in December, 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago? 6 weeks ago. Goodness me. Because luckily for me, the cancer was caught early again, and to avoid any possibility of spreading or coming back, our family has a genetic disorder. So I think I had like a 70 to 90% chance of it recurring. So, so yes. There you are, you see. However rosy things look, there are always challenges in life. And you've, well, goodness me, you've been through the most enormous challenge. But I want to say, fantastic. I love that moment on Dragon's Den. And it... No, I mean, I know you weren't happy with your hair, but my hair was awful. but that actually is why it was a great programme. Yeah. Because it genuinely did help people like you get onto the entrepreneurial ladder to do well. And I wish you well with everything. And thank you for joining me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rachel.